speak now to U.S. Brigadier General Mark Kimmitt. He's the former Assistant Secretary of State for Political and Military Affairs. Many thanks for joining us, General Mark Kimmitt.
Sure.
Do you think this was the right decision, that none of these men face any criminal charges?
Well, let's be very clear what they are facing. Many have received letters of reprimand which effectively end their career in the military. And to have taken these to criminal charges would have required that intent was proven, that they did this specifically knowing that this was a hospital.
The MSF charity says they had given coordinates off the hospital. The troops were aware of where the hospital was, yet this happened.
Yeah.
Could something like this happen again?
Well, we would hope that the procedures that are put into place and the procedures that were in place that were violated will ensure this never happens again. It's not just a matter of having the regulations and the right briefings beforehand, but it's also an assurance that those briefings are given beforehand, which from reports, that briefing was not given before this air flight in this mission.
Do you think there's any difference between what those U.S. troops did and what is going on with the Syrian regime, who is now accused of striking hospitals in Syria?
Oh, I think there's a world of difference. First of all, the Syrian regime is specifically targeting these types of hospitals. And they're also doing what the French call a double coup, which is a double hit. As soon as that attack happens, they will wait for a few minutes until the first responders start coming to that location, and then they'll have another bombing strike. That's intentional, and that, by all rules of engagement in warfare, is a war crime. Sadly, what happened in this case was errors and friction in war, and we hope they don't happen, but sometimes they do happen in war, and nobody can predict that warfare will be flawless. But the United States goes through extraordinary procedures to make sure that we minimize to the greatest extent possible these types of incidents.
Do you think it might be possible, the fact that they're not facing any criminal charges, does it send the wrong message to other soldiers, to other U.S. soldiers who are fighting in places like Iraq and elsewhere in the world, that there are no real consequences if mistakes like this happen?
Well, first of all, I refute your comment about no real consequences. These are brave American soldiers and airmen who have served their country for years and years. They made a mistake on the battlefield, unintentional, but nonetheless, they made a mistake. Their careers, by and large, with a letter of reprimand, means that they will never be promoted again, potentially will never be promoted again, more than likely never be promoted again, and they will have to leave the service that they worked in for so many years. So there are consequences, and to compare those with criminal charges, I believe, are false comparisons.
Okay, many thanks for your time. U.S. Brigadier General Mark Kimmitt joining us there.